Welcome back, everyone, and let's now continue with our summer 2023 mathematics sessions. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to start multiplication of algebraic expressions. And as we go through this, just try and follow all of we're actually going to incorporate some of what we actually did in the previous videos into this one so we can actually establish a pattern that you can use to answer these questions. So let's just jump straight into the first question. Let's say we have 4h times 5. Now what would this be equal to? Now, like before, what you're looking for is the variable. In this case, we just have the variable to be h. Now notice when you're adding, if the variable, adding and subtracting, the variables are not same, you just leave them as is. There's no interaction between them. However, when you're multiplying and also when you'll be dividing, interactions can still happen. So we have identified the variable as h. So what we're going to do is, like before, we look at our coefficients, which we have 4, our operations multiplication times 5, which is 20. So here, it's 20. So we have 4h times 5 is equal to 20h. So let's look at another one now. Let's say we have 2 multiply 6p. Now from this here, our variable is p, and what we have for our coefficients, 2 and 6. And remember, the operation is what's happening between them, which is a multiplication. 2 times 6 is 12. So here we're going to have 12p. Okay then, so now let's go into a little bit more exploration in this dynamic. Let's say we have two variables multiplying. Let's say we have a times w. So our variables are a and w. But are there any numbers multiplying is what many of you may be asking. Now, if you remember from what we did in the addition and subtraction, anytime a variable does not have a number in front of it, the number there is actually 1. So this is actually going to be 1 times 1, which is 1. And if you also remember, and if you're now joining us, you can just go back to see exactly why it is. We just write the variables alone. There's no need for us to actually write back the number 1 in front of it. All right, so I'm going to slow down now. Those are the basic approaches to this. So let's now start with working with some more intermediate style questions. So let's say we have 5x times 6y. Our variables, remember we want it in alphabetical order. So we have x first, y second. Then what we're going to do is look at our coefficients, which would be 5 and 6. So this is 5 times 6, which is equal to 30. Therefore, our answer would be 30xy. So again, our variables are x and y, and our coefficients are 5 and 6. They are multiplying, so 5 times 6 is 30, giving us our final answer to be 30xy. Alright, so we're going to continue along the same pathway now. We'll be touching a little bit of law of indices as we actually go forward. So let's say we have x times x. So I'm not going to write back the whole one approach because, as I outlined earlier on, if a variable does not have a number in front of it, the number is 1. So our variable is x. Now, for law of indices, every, let's say, numeral, and in this case variable, has a power associated with it. If you have, or when you have a variable by itself, the power that it has is 1. So both of the powers here would be 1. Therefore, what we do is we're going to say 1 plus 1. So we have x squared. So again, just remember, whenever you are multiplying variables, you look at the powers they have. In this case, we notice that it was just x times x. Whenever you have a variable by itself, The power is 1. Likewise, the coefficient is also 1. So always remember that. So let's say here we have y times y. So like before, our variable is y. The power here is 1. So this is 1 plus 1. So this is y squared. Let's look at another example of the same approach. Let's say we have a times a. The variable here is a. The power here would be 1 plus 1. So here we have a squared. So to just show you that this can actually change up a little bit, let's say we have let's say we have q. Let's say we have q to the 3rd power times q to the 5th power. Our variable here is q. Our first one has a power of 3, and the second one has a power of 5. So this is q to the 5 plus 3, which is 8. So again, this is what you need to pay attention to. Everything follows a pattern. You practice so you can memorize the pattern. You practice so that you can actually understand what it is you need to do in order to solve questions. So let's explore a little bit of these powers. Let's say we have 2a multiplying a. So our variable here is a. The power for a is both going to be 1, so we have 1 plus 1. Now let's put our coefficient in this case. So we have 2 times 1 a, and we put add the powers 1 plus 1. So 2 times 1 is 2, and we have a squared. So let's look at another approach using what we've been doing previously. So writing back the same question, we have 2a times 1a. Our variable is a, and we know it's going to be 1 plus 1. And then what you do, you multiply the coefficient. So you have 2 times 1, which is 2. So you have 2a, 1 plus 1, so 2a squared. Alright, so let's look at another approach. Let's say we have 5f times f. Our variable here is f. The powers, 1 plus 1. So remember again, if you don't see a power, you write the power in. And then we're going to just put a coefficient here as 1 since f, the second f doesn't have a number in front of it. 5 times 1 is equal to 5. So 5f, and the power is 1 plus 1, giving us the answer of 5f squared. Great, so I hope you're understanding the pattern that you need to pay attention to. So this is going to be the last example that I'll be doing for this here now. Let's say we have 3m to the 5th power times 4m to the 2nd power. Our variable here is m. Our powers 5 and 2, which will be added. And then we have 3 and 4 being our coefficients. The operation is multiplication. Sorry about that. Let me just get rid of that quickly. We're going to have 3 times 4, which is 12. So we have 12m to the 5 plus 2, which is 12m to the 7th power. Alright, so let's move into the next set of questions here now, wherein, let's say your problem looks like this. Let's say you're given 3x in a bracket, and in another bracket you have 2y. So remember, brackets mean to multiply. So we can actually go ahead and just rewrite this, wherein we have 3x times 2y. Now again, what are your variables? We notice that the variable we have in alphabetical order is x and then y. Looking at our numbers here now, for our coefficients, we have 3 times 2, which is 6. Therefore, the answer is 6xy. So these are the problems that you'll be working on today. And tomorrow we'll be looking at some more complex ones where we're looking at multiple variables and powers being attached at different points in the multiplication cycle. So I do hope this video has found you well. Look forward to your worksheet and your multiple choice questions to answer, and try your best. Now, I hope these videos you're finding them to be helpful. If you want me to do things in a particular manner, just message me on WhatsApp and I'll listen to your concern and I'll make adjustments going forward. With that being said, I hope this video has found you well, and do enjoy the remainder of your day.